It's time for Recipe of the Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I have the perfect Irish recipe for you to celebrate today. And it's also just a great recipe to have anytime in March. You know how this month is still a little chilly. You still want to be a little cozy, but you can see that spring and summer are on the horizon. It's going to get warmer. So you kind of want to start getting bright and fresh. So this dish is in between those two things, nice and cozy and bright and fresh. It is a favorite of mine, a traditional Irish dish, Colcannon. Okay. Colcannon is a mashed potato dish that is actually originally traditionally for Halloween, or actually the related festival Samhain that is celebrated in Ireland. Traditionally, this dish would be served on that day, and they would wrap trinkets in paper and put them in there like little coins or little charms, and children would find that in the mashed potatoes. We're not doing that in this recipe, but instead we're making this really wonderful dish, which I sometimes think is just an excuse to eat lots of butter with mashed potatoes. That seems to be what it's all about for me from when I've had it. So Colcannon is mashed potatoes with either cabbage or kale. The recipe that I'm telling you about uses kale. Sometimes there's herbs in there, green onions and leeks, and then it's just all mixed together, and then you finish it off with a pat of butter on the top so that it kind of melts onto the top, and then each scoop that you dig down goes through that recently melted butter and into the potatoes and then into your mouth. Super good. Now, this should not be confused with the other Irish mashed potato dish called champ. That one's very similar, but it has just green onion, no cabbage or kale. So it's the potatoes and the butter and the green onion. So that's the difference between those. Okay, how do you make Colcannon? First, you're going to get about 3 pounds of potatoes, and you're going to peel them and cut them into 2-inch pieces. Put them into a large pot with about 2 teaspoons of salt and just enough cold water to just cover them. We're essentially just making mashed potatoes here. Now you're going to partially cover that pot and then bring it to a boil over high heat. Then take the lid off, reduce it down to a simmer, and cook the potatoes until they're fork tender. It's going to be about 8 to 10 minutes. While they're cooking, get out a colander and put it in the sink. Then when the potatoes are done, you test them with a fork, and if it's nice and soft, then you pour those potatoes into the colander and all the water drains away. Now leave the potatoes in the colander, put the pot back on the stove, and add 2 tablespoons of butter to the pot and put it over medium heat. Melt the butter. Then you're going to add 4 cups of roughly chopped kale and about half a teaspoon of salt, and stir with some tongs just until it's wilted, 3 to 4 minutes. Then add half a cup of chopped green onions and cook those in there for another 30 seconds. At that point, you add back in the drained potatoes and you can start mashing them. That's going to start mixing the kale and the green onion and the potato all together. Then you're going to stir in a half a cup of milk. Then give it a taste and see if you want it moister, if you want some more milk, or if you need some more salt. You could also add some black pepper in there if you wanted at that point. And now the finishing touch. You transfer those potatoes to soup bowls, and onto each serving you put about a half tablespoon slice of cold butter. It's going to start melting and you're going to dig in. I know this is going to be the perfect addition to your St. Patrick's dinner tonight or at some point this week. I cannot wait for you to try it. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is March 17th of 2026. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, cookfor2.us, and this podcast Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.